Hello and welcome to another edition of Grandstanders Live. I'm your host, Scott Kerman, and I'm joined by my usual cohorts, the Professor Ruskins, Uncle Joe McLaughlin, and he's JP's first son, Tim Hoey. Well, we have another great show for you tonight, boys. So let's get it started. We start with the Boston Red Sox. It's opening day. Well, it's on Friday now. It was pushed back because of weather. We start at Yankee Stadium. Very rarely in the history of the Red Sox have they started in Yankee Stadium to play the arch rival Yankees. It's fun, right? Start early, guys.
Absolutely. The Yankee series to kick it off. That gets everyone's juices going, gets the interest in the game.
Why not, right?
It's crazy, at the end of the year, how every game matters. Every game, every win-loss matters when you come down to it.
It's a great idea to start in Yankee Stadium unless you go 0-3, and then it won't be such a great idea.
All right. But we realize
it's a marathon, not a sprint.
If we go 3-0, start printing the World Series tickets. You know what I mean?
That's right.
Look, it's important for the Red Sox to always start well early, but especially when you're starting to play division teams right away. I mean, these games are so important when it comes down to the bottom line of winning the AL East or going into a wild card game.
Didn't we start? I believe, if I remember correctly, we started 0-3 last year.
We did.
If we lose these three, I'm just giving up for the season.
Sell the tickets. That's it. I'm done.
Guys, remember we lost the 3 games at home against the Orioles.
I wish we could have interviewed. We have the tape of the Scotty after those 3 games.
Oh my God, I was done. Just so you know, before we start, I just put in a nice bet, a high 3-digit bet, 84.5 win total for the Red Sox. Last year was 81, which felt like stealing. 84.5. That got to be the number, right?
I got to give you credit. Last year, you were the only. You said 90. We all laughed at you.
Well, you said 95. You backed off a little.
That's bullshit. I said 90. You're just spewing Russ's propaganda. I said 90. I never said 95. I was right. Joe, seriously?
In a burst of enthusiasm, you did say 95.
I remember 98, but
I wanted to bet him on the 90, but he wouldn't do it. Do you remember? He wanted odds.
And by the way, I'm the youngest guy on this show, and I remember 98, so I'm going to be close.
Oh my God, he's throwing the age card. He's throwing the younger stuff. Oh my, I should have shaved. Damn it. Oh my God. All right. So look, Alex Cora scumbag was coming in last season. Scumbag S on his freaking chest. He obviously had a good season as a manager. He comes into this season with lots of cachet and cred. Look, this is his team right now, right?
Absolutely. I mean, he got those guys to respond to him last year like they weren't responding, the previous couple of years. And I think he learned his lesson about how to run a spring training too. He even admitted that in the Globe this week. He said, we came back in 2019, we fouled everything up. And we had a great year last year, and we're right back in it.
Yep. Look, the storyline early on is going to be the starting rotation. This is not the starting rotation we pictured when the season ended. Valde, Pivetta, Rich Hill, Michael Walker, and Houck That doesn't scare anyone. That feels like a team that's lucky to be 500.
So,
I like Evalde. I like Hulk. Rich Hill. Who knows?
I mean, Milton, you're going to need right.
We can't say anything bad about a Milton guy. I know his family.
You're going to need
as a 5-inning guy. Is that going to change?
They're all the whole league's 5-inning guys, right? I mean,
at the very least in the playoffs. But if you're going to start throwing, your starting pitching is only going to give you 5 innings. Good luck. Come August, all their arms all falling off.
Yeah, the bullpen will be shot too.
Yeah. Look, they're going to need to get lucky.
Are the Red Sox the only one doing the 5-inning shuffle?
No,
No.
other teams are doing it.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Russ.
Because of the lack of pitching around the league. Pitching is at a premium right now.
Yeah.
They're going to need to get lucky. You know, two of these guys are going to have to hit. Hill, Waka. Basically, you're going to need to get a big season out of Evaldi. You're going to need Pivetta to take another step up, and then you're going to need like somewhere of those three guys. You need to get lucky. Two of those guys are going to have good years. How Waka or Hill.
The way how could Pivetta would pitch at the end of last year, I was very happy with him.
Yeah, but the thing to me, great question. Are they all going to pitch 5 innings? But what they're trying to tell us is the guys like Crawford, who's just made the team, and Whitlock are going to be multiple inning guys. So it's kind of a strategy. If you get 5 innings from Rich Hill, Alex Cora is going to be very happy. It feels like playoff baseball, game 3.
Right.
Feels like we're all happy if we get 5 innings out of anyone these days.
But, look, anytime you go to the relief, every time you turn that bullpen over, if you have 3 or 4 guys who pitch a game, as we know, one of those guys may not have it, and that's the game. You need a starting pitcher, and that's why Max Scherzer makes $30-40 million a year.
Right.
You need a guy who can go 7 to 8 innings, or it's not going to work out.
Yeah, they're going to need one or two of these guys to break through. Definitely Pivetta. Pivetta has all the makings of a guy who should be able to pitch 6-7 innings, but he's not efficient. He throws too many balls. He doesn't throw enough strikes, right? But
should be able to.
Yeah, let's just continue to stretch him out. Look, they're going to start the year with 15 pitchers on the
15
staff?
pitchers, yeah, 28-man roster to start the year because of the lack of spring training. That first of all, to think about it, they have a small bench because they don't have great bench players. So when you have like a Travis Shaw as one of your bench guys who went 0 for 17 during spring training at one point, it just shows you 15 pitchers. We're just going to see a cavalcade of guys walking in and out of that bullpen. It's going to make for a nice 4-hour game on Friday.
I mean,
they still have the 3-hitter rule, right?
Yeah.
So they're not going to be able to change. They're not going to be able to change a guy twice in an inning unless it's a blowout, right?
But it feels like poor planning by Chaim Bloom.
I'm not going to accuse Chaim Bloom of poor planning. I think this guy has a plan. He doesn't seem to go anywhere without a plan. Joe, is he waiting for these prospects to come in? I mean, this guy, I won't be surprised we see a parade of pitchers once again coming through here.
Well, look, based on how much pitchers got this offseason, they should have re-signed Erod. That looks like a deal that would have reasonable. And we would not be that nervous right now if Erod was part of that rotation.
The mistake they made, which now this is the second administration for the Red Sox that's made the mistake, is they counted on Sale. Like the only explanation for this is they were looking at Sale as a guy who could throw 150 innings this year. It's the second year off of Tommy John. Those guys, that's when they bounce back. And Sale shows up, and he's not going to. If he throws 70 innings this year, they'll be lucky.
That was a giant kick in the gut. I mean, is that poor planning on Hines' part to depend on him?
Depend on a $30 million a year guy. I mean, at some point in time, you just have to.
You have to,
supposed
right?
to be the jewel in the crown, right? I mean,
but also he's such a big talker, Nana Chrissy. He's such a big talker. And first of all, I just want him to keep his mouth shut because I can't stand him speaking. Now he says, well, I only gave the Red Sox a good 2017, part of 2018, and I haven't felt like a baseball player since.
I don't blame this guy 1 second for taking the $30 million a year contract. The Red Sox are the idiots for signing him. If somebody offers you $30 million a year, you're going to take it?
I know, but
continuing to sunk cost by depending on him when they know he's not going to give him anything.
I don't blame him for 1 second for what. It's like when they offered Derek Sanderson to be the highest paid athlete in the world. He said, this moron was offering me this money. I said, thank you very much, and I took it.
Timmy, what you can criticize him for is not getting in proper shape to be a professional athlete. You know, we always think about the fatties of the world. Fat, fat, fat. JD Martinez comes in last year heavy. That's clear to us. We can see it. But he is the skinniest athlete, other than Manute Bol, that I've ever seen in professional sports.
When I was younger, I used to lift and lift and lift. I couldn't get any bigger. I mean, I don't blame this guy. I'm sorry, he's hurt. He has a cracked rib. I think he'd love to be pitching right now. I really don't blame. You know, the Anthony Davises of the world. I think he could be doing something about it. This guy has injuries. There's nothing he can do about it. Could he have lifted weights and that would have cracked his rib? I don't know. You know,
how did he crack his rib anyways?
Yeah, right.
It's a mystery.
I don't know. I don't blame somebody for injuries. I had injuries. I don't blame people for injuries.
Look, I blame people for not being physically ready. As Joe always says, these guys only work out when they're on the clock. Chris Sale feels like that type of athlete.
I don't know that.
He still spring training before he lifted. He wasn't lifted in the off season and cracked the rib. Believe me.
Yeah, look, Russ, aren't you sick of all the talk Chris Sale does, Mr. Tough Guy?
Look, do I think he feels bad about about not performing? Yeah, I think he's a very competitive guy. I think he's really good at self-flagellation at this point because that's all he can do, you know, and he can't pitch. And it's a massive, massive waste of resources that cost us Mookie Betts and among other things. That's just the bottom line.
Red Sox who signed that deal. That's who's signed it.
That's 100%. I mean, they never should have done it. Period.
You gave Dombrowski shares,
and they're still paying for it.
Yeah.
I thought they paid for it twice over in having to trade Mookie Betts. And guess what? It's 2022, and they're still paying for it.
Yeah, and he's going to get paid with deferred payments, boys, till 2039. He's going to be getting a check, which costs against our luxury tax till 2039. So this is just the gift that's going to be. Yep, 20 for the next 17 years he'll be getting paid by the Boston Red Sox. This is unbelievable. That agent deserves so much, and probably just took Dombrowski out, gave him a couple of drinks, right? Next thing you know, they have
the Jerry Buss treatment. I don't know if you've been watching that Lakers.
I haven't.
He gave him the Jerry Buss. The first thing Jerry Buss did whenever he had a meeting, he introduced him to like 5 Playboy playmates. Said, "I'll just enjoy yourself for a couple of hours," and then kept talk business. You know what I mean?
All right, so everybody's talking about Twitter the last few days. Is everyone wants Rafael Devers signed? With Ramirez.
He turned it down. He's not going to talk to the rest of the year.
Yeah, I don't. I never believe any of that stuff, Joe. They always say that if somebody comes with a big contract, I'm sure he can be updated by his agent if they're offering $30 million a year for 8 years.
But doesn't he have to? He's under contract with the Red Sox for the next couple, right?
Couple years, right?
He goes into arbitration in a big way. I guess my question is, Scott, like, wouldn't you, if you're the Red Sox, isn't figuring out what to do with Xander your top priority right now? That's the clock is really ticking on that. When you want to understand what Xander's deal is before you jump into the Devers thing?
Yeah, no, that's a great question. Yeah, look, also you have priorities like Evaldi. You have priorities like Kiki Hernandez, who are up next year. You have Xander. Yeah, Devers seems to something that you would revisit next offseason.
Would you be surprised if Devers was traded and they didn't re-sign Xander? Given the new rules against the shift, you might want the little more athletic guys. If you
no.
Hyde doesn't look like he's opening the wallet for anyone.
No. There's not a chance. Like Russ said, after getting rid of Mookie Betts, you get rid of Rafael Devers, and that's it.
That's why they brought in Hyde Bloom. He's been doing it on the cheap, right?
No. I mean, I don't think you'll have
Rich Hill.
No, Trevor Story. They just paid $20 million for
Trevor Story.
I think he's on a hybrid Tampa type of leash.
No, that's not true. They're over the cap. They're spending. Look. They free up. The key is a lot of money is freed up after this year. The David Prices come off the books. A lot of money comes off the books.
What's price on the books for this year?
They haven't sobered up since Dombrowski's drunken spending spree. That's what we're all paying for. We're paying for Sale. Evaldi's contract was pretty good, but David Price, all that stuff is still on the books right now.
Yeah,
it is.
Right. And part of that deal with Mookie Betts was to cut in half David Price's deal.
Right. But it's still there. Right.
I read what I'm saying. That's another reason why they got rid. And also they got rid of David Price. Look, right. I know he's been hurt and hasn't been productive, but that was a pretty good pitcher for the Boston Red Sox that they had to get rid of to trim down budget. Yes. Yeah. Dombrowski, okay. He won us a title in 2018. Was it worth it, fellas?
Yeah, for me it was.
Yeah.
I mean, I thought I'd never see a Red Sox World Series in my lifetime, so everything's gravy now. You know what I mean?
So we always said, I'm sure we've been doing this show for 8 years. I'm sure we said in 2018, if we can win this year, would you guys give up the next 5 years of potential World Series?
Everyone said yes.
Everyone.
Yeah, by the way, I don't.
Go ahead, Russ.
I'm not complaining, but the fact of the matter is the reason why the Red Sox are in this weird spot is that they have a lot of money on the books that he signed that's coming off next year. I don't think Devers is going anywhere, Joe, but I do find it hard to believe that Bogarts, Story, and Devers will be on this team next year. And I think it's Bogarts.
I got a question.
Someone's got to go. That's just too. When you can't shift anymore, that'll expose Devers' lack of range, Bogart's lack of range, and I don't know anything about Story. I've never watched National.
I have a hypothetical.
It might be a stiff toe.
If I could tell you we'll win a World Series every 10 years, would you be content with that? And we never finish above fourth place the other 9 years.
No. Oh, come on. We're not going to live that long.
No. If you told me that we were going to be competitive every year and once every between 5 and 10 years, we'd win one, but every other year, for the most part, we're competitive, I'd be fine with that. But I mean,
it's more important for us to be competitive every year than to win a World Series, say, every 5 years.
There's no reason the Red Sox at the amount of money they spend every year should not be competitive. I mean, that's ridiculous. I mean, the Baltimore Orioles are fourth place team because they spend nothing. The Pirates are fourth place teams because they spend nothing. This is the Boston Red Sox. They always should be in the mix. That's it. Bottom line. I agree with you. Russ. Xander's gone probably.
I think so.
Yeah.
Unless he agrees to a position change.
Yeah, well, that's it. Because a guy like Mayer, I don't know if you saw any clip, watched Mayer bat in spring training. They gave him some professional up at bats at spring training. This kid's a stud. He's going to shoot up through this system. And apparently he already is major league ready as far as defensively. This guy's going to be the starting shortstop at the very least in 3 years.
Well, Xander's not going to agree to a position change because that's like saying cut my salary in half, right?
Oh, not always true. No.
A year plus.
No, look, Trevor Story got pretty much what he wanted, and he's happy to go to second base.
But that's $10 million less than most shortstops get. You get it. The shortstops have been getting 30 million plus, 30 to 35.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, what
level are guys that are better than Xander?
What's that?
Better than Xander Bogarts.
Better than Xander. I get that. Not
defensively, everyone who plays shortstop.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone.
The shift has helped has hides that range deficiency. Because Xander makes all the plays. The ball's hit at him. He makes the play. He's a good, steady infielder that way. He just doesn't have any range.
Boys, I'm in shock that JBJ is going to be our starting right fielder. Seriously, I cannot understand that. Please explain that to me.
It can't get worse, right? It can only get better.
But I think I made a mistake somehow.
Is it it's impossible to be worse than he was last year, right? It's physically impossible.
The worst offensive year in the history of baseball.
So Russ, what is Heim thinking? Getting rid of Hunter Renfroe and taking that big contract.
There must have been a plan B. There must have been a plan B.
Counting on that Japanese fellow landing here.
Has to be, right?
Yeah, I think Joe's right that he probably thought he had at least a couple of other things lined up. And he had a plan B and a plan C, and those things fell through. And then maybe he thought he had a plan D, like signing this, and he didn't pull anything off. And he realized, like, well, let's just see if we catch lightning in a bottle and JBJ plays well for 3 months. I don't know.
I think his number cruncher guys came to him and said, defensively, we're an outfield, we're a wreck. So I think that's what really stuck in his head defensively, because the Red Sox, organizational wise, have no quality outfield prospects. If you call Duran an outfield prospect, okay, but otherwise they don't have that depth in the minor league system in the outfield. To get rid of Renfroe, still a pretty young guy, controlled for 2 years, to take on a hell of a crazy contract for basically one prospect, it was just a bizarre. And to do it at the deadline before, things had to stop. I just can't understand.
Now, what was it?
Is that new strike zone been put? Is that new strike zone going into effect this year?
No.
Next year?
Electronics.
Because that would help JBJ, because that high strike wouldn't be there anymore. And that's the one that kills them. That let a high fastball, strike 3 every time.
I know 4 years ago, JBJ was part of the best outfield in Major League Baseball.
And why isn't JBJ the center fielder for the Red Sox? His best position.
He likes playing there.
It's all really just bizarre. I mean, you're a corner fielder's got to be a big time offensive guys.
Well, Kike played great center field last year. I wouldn't move Kike. He was fantastic last year. I wouldn't do anything with him. Don't screw Kike up in order to help JBJ. JBJ will be gone by June 1st.
JBJ's not the future.
I put JBJ right with that big gun he's got. That's where I'd have him.
Yeah, he's got the arm. I don't think Kike's got that kind of arm, and that's why he's better off in center field.
But just so you guys know, Christian Arroyo will be playing right field Wednesday and Sunday. He's already penciled in of next week. He's your utility guy in the outfield. So instead of Hunter Renfroe, we're going to have Christian Arroyo trying to learn right field and batting .210. This
better than JBJ batting .110.
This was so, I know in Heim we trust, but again, I am still waiting for a move to be made before the opening day. Seriously, I'm still
it's not happening. Maybe it's
absolutely. I'm in shock. All right, so boys, we always wait for this. This is our big moment each year. It's time to forecast the wins for the Boston Red Sox. Now, I'm going to make sure that Ian emphasizes this on the tape, puts a red mark. So no Professor Russ Stevens.
Write them right down right now and tape them to my wall.
Yeah, no Professor Russ Stevens can say I did any number that I'm predicting. And guess who's predicting first? It's not me. It's not Joe. It's not Tim. Russell, what number total would you like for the Red Sox this year?
Easy. It's 89. Easy.
All right, 89. Which would, and so does wait, Joe. Does 89 do it? Does 89 make the playoff?
They're gonna sneak in a wild card.
88. FanGraphs, you know how the stat site ran all the things through their computers, and they came up with that the AL East was going to end up all 4 teams with 88 wins, and the Orioles with 60. So 88 sounds like a good number to me. Nice round number. I'll take that. I'll go with 88.
All right, Timmy.
I'll go with 87.
87. All right.
We're all in the ballpark.
Okay, so wait.
Except Scott, 109.
So wait, is this like Price is Right? So if I have the highest number, no matter what, I win?
So 86
it is not.
It is not the Price is Right. So if I say 90, if they go 90 or more, I win? I got it, right?
No. Well, yes. If they go 90 or more, you win. Yeah.
All right.
You're closest to the total.
Yeah, I look, I actually think that you're going to see a lot of young guys on this team ultimately. And that this roster, this 28-man roster now, I think the Red Sox are going to end up using about 60 guys this season. And a lot of young guys that we're not thinking about right now are going to contribute a lot. The Boston Red Sox are going to win 97 games. That I really believe that. What we saw last year, guys, what we saw at the end of the season and the playoffs was a team that's developed. Look, our expectations are high, at least mine are. 97 wins, the Boston Red Sox. I saw a team last year that should have won a World Series, boys. They were trending to be the best team in baseball, and they would have beat the Atlanta Braves. So 97, Russell. That's it. That's going to happen. And the Red Sox are going to win the division.
Take on the wall, Scotty.
Yeah, the Reds. And you're gonna love. You're gonna love the story.
They lost a lot of guys and replaced them with. They lost E-Rod and replaced him with Michael Walker.
Wait a minute.
Renfro and replaced him with J.
97 wins, boys.
Wait a minute.
Replacing Christian Arroyo's not the only one.
I need a timeout here. Because you just slipped something in there. You just said, and you're going to love Trevor's story. So I have the receipts from our text group where about 2.5 weeks ago, and I quote, Trevor Story is an average player.
Well, I looked at his stats. Yeah,
this was 2 hours before he was traded, and now Scotty's telling me I'm going to like Trevor's Story.
I am telling you, I'm telling everybody. I'm telling our wide audience.
Well, Russell, agree with him on one thing. It's hard to, those Colorado numbers. You can take with a grain of salt a lot of his power stuff, but I think looking at his spray chart, he's going to hit that wall a lot.
Yeah.
He's going to kill that wall.
Yeah, and defensively, he's going to look. The reason we liked Iglesias coming in the last month was defensively, he was so much different than anything we had seen at second base.
Oh, why did we re-sign him? He didn't cost anything.
No, he ended up getting $5 million a year. Look, I'll take Trevor's Story every time over Iglesias.
I just want you to repeat the 97 wins with Hansel Robles starting the 7th game of the year or coming in the second inning after Rich Hill, and see how sure you're going to be about 97 wins when you're looking at Robles throwing 5 innings a game.
Can we make a prediction who makes the Scott top 3 hate list this year?
Oh, Robles is number one. Robles is number one.
No, JBJ. JBJ for sure.
JBJ, by the way, JBJ helped us win a World Series. At least JBJ is a history. He won the MVP. Hang on, he won the ALCS MVP.
He batted 188. I know. I was there. I watched it.
He had like 3 home runs.
I know. He made some clutch hits.
Right time, place, right time.
Batted 188. And that big hit he had in game 2 of the ALCS, if you remember, was a check swing with the bases loaded that hit the line on third base and then trickled down to the.
You're gonna love. So, and don't we do the player who's going to surprise us? Isn't that our annual tradition?
The exact player's going to surprise.
This is when I pick Mitchie Moreland, right?
Yeah, even though he's not on the team. That would be ballsy to pitch Mitch Moreland right now when he's not on the team.
He's my plan B.
Yeah. When Tristan Casas doesn't come through.
What's Mitchie Two Bags doing these days?
What's that? Waiting to play for the Red Sox. He's just waiting to play for the Red Sox.
He's getting in shape.
All right, so wait. So come on, Russ. Give me a player on the current roster who's going to surprise.
I am going to pick the Dahlbeck, Bobby Dahlbeck.
Well, all right, Timmy.
Who's the left fielder?
Verdugo.
I think he's going to have a big year.
Joe.
I like the Verdugo pick, Tim, but I'll go with Garrett Whitlock. I think he'll have an expanded role this year. We just got to taste that.
I think it's going to be Christian Vasquez because he's on a make do. He's going to be a free agent after this year.
You are really hanging yourself out there today. 97 wins and Christian Vasquez. Like,
nobody says this.
Are you
Nobody
okay?
does 97. So If it won the million chance, he can bask in the glory of it.
Oh my God! And oh my God, if they get 97 wins, that's it. Seriously.
We'd all be
Is
happy.
there an open barrel of
He'll be walking around Brookline with that hat on forever.
All right, wait, boys. Ian said that we have to cut to a break, and we'll be back. So we'll be back in a minute. Ian needs to do something with the Zoom. So hold on, guys.
one.
All right, we're back. Thank you, Ian, for clearing that all up. All right, we go to the Boston Celtics. Look, this season, huge surprise. Huge surprise that they've played this well. And as overall, they got to take care of business the next 3 games, get as high a seed as they possibly can. And it looks like Rob Williams will be back. Russ Stevens gave us the info about the whole trimming. Looks like Williams could be back possibly by the end of the first round, I'm hearing. Celtics are in a really good position right now.
So why the smirking, Russell?
I just thought of something funny. That's all.
Give him credit where credit was due.
I gave you
I'll
lots
tell you, I had mine my one trimmed.
You got trimmed too, Joe?
And I was walking that day, that afternoon I could walk.
Yeah, it's not a big deal. It's all just a matter of how quickly can he rehab it, and he should come back pretty much the same. It'll be his wind more than anything. It'll be, can he spend more than 7 or 8 minutes on the court at any given time? So
Emily Baby, I don't know, anyone who's got surgery, you kind of you're a little guarded about that injury because it was that part of your body was hurting so much like a week before, and now you're relying on it.
Yeah.
Look, what's this team capable of? And is Ime Udoka capable of first season being a head coach of a world championship team?
Well, I think that the good news is Ime's been, they had to go into almost playoff mode 2.5 months ago. I mean, they were on the verge of being out of it. So what did Ime? The big change was Ime shortened his rotation. They made the trade, but he's been playing 8 guys a night for the most part for 2 months. That's a playoff rotation. So Ime should do exactly what he's been doing for the last 2 months in the playoffs. Doesn't need to do a thing.
Why haven't we heard Jason Tatum's name in the MVP conversation?
Well, I think he's too late to the game. I mean, and remember, as we know in those MVP, if the MVP plays into the same caliber as he did last year, he's the MVP again. That's tough to take these guys off the crown. And Yoka, he's.
I've heard him. It's a great question, Timmy. I've heard him in the last couple of weeks in a bunch of national podcasts. He's now being mentioned in the top 5, 5th or 6th in the MVP race, which is about right. I mean, it's going to be Embiid or Jokic or Giannis.
We've watched what he's done night in and night out since Christmas, and I don't know what more you could do than what he's done.
Well, I think he said that if he had been playing this way the whole season, that he'd be probably the MVP candidate. So I don't think his expectations are that he makes it this year as the MVP, but he has said himself, good luck next year because it's my crown to lose.
He's setting the table. He's 24 years old. I mean,
yeah. But look, needless to say, it's going to be all about what you do in the playoffs. Who do you want to play in the first round that is a possibility right now?
Oh, we can't hear you, Joe.
Oh,
mute button, mute.
No, he's not on mute. No. He's going to restart it. I think it's the team you love to play is the team you're playing tonight. Probably is Chicago because they're kind of injured and they've been going south. The one team that you have to be really careful of, and you guys have probably been following this, but there's been some pretty persistent rumors that the Celtics have 1 or 2 guys who are unvaccinated. And if you end up with Toronto, those guys can't play in Toronto, and that would be really bad.
So I'm guessing Jaylen Brown's one.
I
Yeah,
think it's Al Horford for sure.
Well, Al came out last week and said, "I will be ready to play wherever next." In 2 weeks.
Brown say something similar?
Brown was vague about it. He was vague. I hope I'm wrong. I mean, I would be so just deeply disappointed if Brown was unvaccinated at this point, mainly because, he seems to be such a thoughtful guy. And I know for a fact, he's been sort of hobnobbing over at MIT and Harvard. He's been hanging out with researchers. He's a guy who believes in sort of academics. And if he can't play, that's going to be pretty deeply disappointing to a lot of fans in Boston.
Wow. Yeah. All of a sudden, yeah. Can you imagine how they'll react? I would imagine, Jaylen Brown to lose a championship because Jaylen Brown not vaccinated. That sounds like that's your exit.
Well, it could sour the situation. Now, by the way, we're blaming him for something that he hasn't done yet. So let's just be really, really careful. But that's why I hope it's not him, because I think he has such a great reputation as being a leader and a thoughtful person. I really hope it's not the case, and it would come out if it's versus Toronto. Matisse Thybulle was listed as not eligible to play tonight, and for the Sixers because they're playing in Toronto.
Well, Al Horford. Joe, is your microphone working?
How's that? Can you hear me? Al says he'll get the shot. If it comes down, they have a series with Toronto. Horford has already said he will get it.
Yeah.
So he doesn't have a shot.
Toronto, he won't.
So he doesn't have the shot, but he'll get it.
No, he does not.
If they have to play Toronto. If they don't have to play Toronto, he won't get it. Simple as that.
Who else is on that list that you know?
That's the only one we know. Jay Rich, they traded away, possibly because that was one of the considerations why they made that trade.
There's speculation Jaylen Brown too.
Yeah. But didn't Jaylen Brown play earlier in the year up in Toronto?
They changed their rules, Joe. They changed Canada changed the rules. Look, I really he's my favorite player. As a fan of his on and off the court, I really, really hope this isn't the case. Like, this isn't one of those, but I agree, Scotty, if it were the case, it would be bad. In this town, it would be bad. It may not be bad down in Jacksonville, Florida, but it'd be bad in this town.
Yeah. And look, even people I've spoken to who are anti-vaxxers said that if the Celtics lost their possibility to win a title, which if Williams comes back, definitely is a possibility because somebody didn't get vaccinated, that's a game changer.
Yep.
Oh, definitely.
I mean, look, what's going to be the reason we win a championship or go deep into the playoffs, and what will be the reason we don't?
Well, other than health, I mean, can we just take health off the table?
Other than health, right?
Yeah. Well, the reason why you win it or don't, I think, look, it's typically the team that wins the championship or the team that wins any playoff series is because they have the best player, right? They have the team with the best player typically wins these things. So that means Tatum and then his wingman Brown. They're going to live or die with those two guys.
Yeah. Joe?
Joe.
Oh, can't hear you. Lost
you again, Joe.
Hit the mic.
Mm-hmm.
Give the mic a tap.
Timmy,
go ahead.
This doesn't sound like much of an answer. I know that, but I've been at games where shots just aren't falling.
Yeah.
You're used to shoot X amount of threes a game, and it looks like the identical shot. And some nights they're just not going in.
Yep.
I think it's whoever is going to, shoot the highest percentage on the threes. If we can shoot well, if we can shoot as well as we've been shooting, I don't see anybody stopping them.
Joe? Oh, tap on your mic, Joe. See if we can get you going here. You can hear us, right? Come back in. Go back out. Look, I think it's Marcus Smart, to be honest with you. I really think if we get the good Marcus Smart, the one who behaves, the one who understands his role, very alarming when that game when everyone was out in Toronto, he went back to bad Marcus Smart.
Yeah, but can you blame him for that? Like, everyone's out. Like, at that point in time, he's playing a different role that night.
No, but I did rest because I felt like the team was playing extraordinary for what the roster they had, and then at the end. When he didn't have to do that. The team was flowing.
They almost won the game, though. They almost won the game.
And again, I want White. I want D White. If anyone's going to have to do that, I want D White with the ball in his hand. I trust that guy to make the right decision at the end of the game. I don't feel like D White actually gets the minutes that he deserves.
All right, Joe, it says you're connected on your audio.
Oh, I can't hear you, Joe. Look, we talked in a text thread. The Celtics traded their first round pick, which right now would be the 26th pick in the draft, for D White. The Bruins traded and got Hampus for the same 26th pick in the first round. This again, if we needed to be on top of our heads, you trade your pick if you can get a quality guy that can change the roster this dramatically.
What have we
And both
seen,
the Bruins and the Celtics did that.
Yeah, we've seen these teams that end up winning the championships, so the teams that made the moves at that time and did similar moves. So I'm optimistic that they did the right thing. Yeah, I mean, the 26th pick, God knows what you're getting with the 26th pick. I mean, not many 26 picks really work out.
Yeah, I mean, Rob Williams was 27th pick in the draft, but that was kind of a unique situation.
26 picks that didn't work out.
The 26th pick, generally, guys, is almost a second round pick. They're almost close to selling those picks at the end of the first round.
Yep, I think that's right. No, Timmy, I do like your answer to that question about shooting, because look, they're going to double team Tatum. Probably all game in the playoffs. And so if he's doing what he's been doing, which is to getting the ball to open shooters, guys are just going to have to hit those shots, and they're going to be really open.
Yep. Well, you saw with the Chicago Bulls, guys like Paxson and Kerr, they hit key shots to win championships. Maybe it's going to be a Pritchard, maybe it's going to be a White, but like you said, Russ, it's going to have to be somebody, because they're going to.
Like Pritchard could get red hot, That can be a changer.
We need Pritchard to be the Tyler Hero of 2 years ago.
You leave me open, I'm going to hurt you.
Yep.
Another guy, don't sleep on it. I tell you, that's Sam Hauser. Holy shit. The guy never misses.
He doesn't. He just doesn't have any foot speed on defense, though. You can see you're just like, oof. I think that's a guy you bring in, you're 15 down, 20 down, and you just need someone to get hot, and you don't care about defense at that point in time. But he's just, he looks like he's walking around with, leg weight strapped to his ankles.
Yeah, but offensively on a final possession, that'd be a nice guy to have on the court.
Unfortunately, there's two ends of the court,
No, I know, but I'm still talking last possession. You need a three.
Yeah, maybe last shot. Sure. Yeah, have another guy.
All right. How was Steve Kerr on defense? I forget. Was he liability on defense?
He was pretty good. He was 6 foot. I think he was 6'4", wasn't he?
I just remember him so many big shots.
Yeah.
All right, so boys, we go to the Patriots, and if you remember, in 2019, the guy who cost us the division was when Devontae Parker in that final Miami game could not stop him. Gilmore totally had no answer for him. Big receiver, 6'3". Patriots acquire him for basically just a move in the draft. They get a 5th round pick from Dolphins, and they give up a 3rd next year. I love the deal. I love the chance to give Mac Jones more weapons.
And I think the best thing about it is it's going to usher N'Keal Harry finally the hell out of town, I would imagine, right?
You would hope so, right?
Do you think he can't make the team this year?
No. They're trying. This whole idea they're trying to trade him. If they could have traded him, they would have already. Nobody's giving you anything for N'Keal Harry. Not even a 7th round pick.
Does he end up in the CFL? Is he gone?
He might. It's a good point.
Yeah, does arena football still exist?
The XFL.
First round pick. One
of the biggest busts, first round pick busts. I would say it's the biggest one in modern times. And forget about Kenny Sims and stuff like that. It's because of the players the Patriots could have drafted.
Oh God, yeah. Joe, we're talking about N'Keal Harry again.
Can we hear you, Joe?
You might have to go to your phone, Joe. You might have to go to your phone.
Is there a way to correct this, you think, on your end?
No, I think it's Joe's.
Try it with your iPhone, Joe.
I think
there you go.
Okay, we're back in.
Oh, there you go. All
right. I think if they're going to have to cut him, they're hoping for a 6th or a 7th round pick. No one's giving him nothing for him.
Yeah, right.
They'll wait for him to be cut, and they'll pick him up for free. There's a few people who want him. Give him a try. He was the first round pick.
Yeah. Yeah, they'll definitely give him a. Yeah, Joe's right. I mean, I don't know what the Patriots are trying to hold on for. That was a bad pick. It just was.
They're holding him on for pride at this point. It's like, and I thought Belichick. We always gave him credit for admitting his mistakes and cutting the chafe loose quickly. He doesn't seem to have done it with this, with Harry.
So I saw a video. I don't know if you guys saw in the last few days. The Mac Jones in Florida's gotten together with all the wide receivers, Bourne, Myers, and stuff. Actually, in fact, Parker just came. Mac Jones looks awesome.
Was Harry there? Was Harry there?
What's that? No, he was not there. And Harry, in fact, tweeted, said, "I didn't even know you guys were doing this."
Does Mac look like he lost any of his baby fat over
oh my God.
the
Did
winter?
you see this video, Russ?
No.
He looks like he lost 20 pounds easy.
Chiseled chin.
Oh, is that right?
Easy. Oh my God. He doesn't have male tits anymore. It's no, I'm telling you, you have to see him. He looks fantastic.
Right.
Oh, it's if the smoke detector goes off, that means Adrian's cooking.
Oh, your mic is in and out still.
Yeah.
Oh, Joe, we can't hear you right now.
That is not an accurate.
Give your mic a tap.
We've lost control of this.
Well, we lost control a long time ago. So does this affect how they draft? I assume, especially in the first round, you would assume they're not going to go with a wide receiver now.
I don't think they were ever going to go with a wide receiver in the first round. They're going to go for defense or
I'm absolutely horrified to ever pick, for the next 10 years, a wide receiver in the first round.
Yeah, it feels like they're going to go with the linebacker.
Now, are the receivers deep this year? Is the crop deep? I wish Joe's microphone worked so I could hear him.
Yeah, apparently it is very deep. Yeah, but they say that every year. And, the fact is that if you watch the playoffs, so many dropped passes by wide receivers, I can understand why they're signing some of these guys to big deals, is because there are not many top receivers in the NFL.
Yeah, and you need one. It looks like you need a real top guy to make it into the Final Four, right? I mean, each of those Final Four teams had a real top guy.
Yeah, well, that's a great point. Yeah, right, exactly. And the Patriots don't have one, and a guy like Aguilar and Janu Smith are actually being paid like one. And
that's exactly right.
Yeah, and that's the situation they're dealing with right now. Where do they go? I think they go linebacker, or they think they go tackle. I think it's going to actually, if the guy who's available, who I spoke about before, Penning, if Penning's available, a tough tackle, I think that's the guy they do. They need to protect Mac Jones.
Yeah, I mean, even though you can pick, the Patriots seem to have a penchant for picking up offensive linemen out of nowhere and making them into something. That is where your team really is built. When you can go out and get absolute monsters on the DRO line, you got to grab them when they're there.
Joe, is your microphone working?
No.
Oh, geez, no. Russell, where do you think they're going in the draft? First round?
I think in the end, I think they're going to draft a cornerback. I mean, they're weakest at cornerback right now. They're desperate. Cornerback. CV, defensive back, cornerback. Yeah.
But you had a guy. You had one of the top guys, and you let him go, and then
you didn't want to pay him. He doesn't want to pay that kind of money for a guy. I don't think he thinks that J.C. Jackson is that great. I think he thinks he could bring in a first, second, third round pick and get close to J.C. Jackson's production.
They've been typically right too when they let these guys go.
You guys talk. Go ahead.
They've been typically right when they've let these guys go too. Russell, do you think that these guys, when they leave the Patriots, they don't really live up to the money?
Well, not that many of them have. Logan Ryan, Malcolm Butler, Revis was cooked by the time he left. Gilmore, we'll see. He's typically right in, he's bad at drafting second round cornerbacks, but he's pretty good about when to let these guys go, right?
You know what he's really good
Ty
at?
Law, look, Ty Law had a great career past the pit. I mean, Ty Law played very well for a few more years, but it's the only one I can remember, really.
You know he's really good at is picking up cornerbacks off the street.
Well, the last time he drafted a good safety cornerback was and McCourty. McCourty started as a cornerback. I mean, he's the last guy, and it's just been utter failures ever since.
You might have the best luck at picking guys off the scrap heap, though, of anything.
Yeah. Well, this is going to be very interesting. The draft is at the end of the month, and I mean, it's 365, right? Talking about the draft now in the NFL, they've been brilliant with the trades, the signings, the draft. They've proven that they're the number one sport in this country.
I just don't want to become the town that lives for the draft, like the Jets.
Right.
Things aren't going well, and the best day of your year is the draft. That's the only time like you're optimistic.
Well, we went. We're in a football town, but we're a football town now.
We went 10-7 last year, and he'll figure out a way to do that again.
Scotty, it's a football country right now.
That's for sure. All right, we go to the Bruins, and it's all about Hampus all the time.
Yeah. Except he got injured, right?
I don't know what this injury. They really haven't. Yeah. He grabbed his knee, which is not a good sign.
Never.
What are they saying today?
And they haven't really, they obviously it's lower body injury, but it looks like he might be okay, but we have to take a look at it. When someone grabs their knee on a non-contact play, that worries me. Russell, did he take a hit or a shot or anything? I didn't see it,
Tim. Yeah,
it looked like it was away from the play, which worries me. I mean, that would be.
Hey, I got some information for you guys. I was at this thing last week, and I ran a very well-known hockey agent was there, and I got into a nice long conversation with him, and he represents Pasternak, and he said that he's an amazing kid. He was not happy with the move to the second line originally, very unhappy, and has completely fallen in line. Like loves it now, loves playing with Taylor Hall, energized. But the initial days after the move, he was one unhappy candidate.
You can't blame the kid. I mean, playing with Bergeron and Marchand, I mean, it's like freaking glory time, right? I mean,
Well, look what it's done for DeBrusk's career.
I know it turned out to be a fabulous move because the first half of the season it was a shock when you looked at the score sheet. If anyone other than Pasta, Bergeron, or Marchand wasn't involved in the goal, it was a shock. Now everybody's scoring.
Yep.
Everyone's getting in on the act. So great coaching move. I don't know where the decision came from, but it's working out, and good to hear the Pasta's buying. I mean, Hall's a good player.
He's played very well. 22 points in the last 23 games. Taylor Hall.
He's a big kid. He's a big guy. I mean,
and who leads the team in goals in the last X amount of games?
DeBrusk.
Jake DeBrusk.
And his goals right now are goals. They're not. They're goal scorers goals. They're garbage goals, which is what you want. Really, because you don't see Charlie Coyle getting those goals. That's the sign of a goal scorer. When you're getting those rebound goals, when you're getting those tip goals, when you're getting those crazy shoot from the back of the net and the puck goes in, those are goal scorers' goals, and that's what I like to see. So you guys have that touch.
Joe, I don't think your microphone's still working. Did you try it, Joe?
Try your phone, Joe. You might have to sign out with your phone.
Too late.
That's going to be too much for him. Yeah. All right, so look, Bruins, what do you think, guys? Do you think the Bruins can compete for a cup?
Yeah, why not?
Swayman's got to play better than he's been playing, though, Timmy. Last night was not good.
He handles the puck terribly. He's not terrible handling the puck. I mean, I don't want to see him leaving that net,
Would they play the backup in the playoffs?
Sure, they'll play the hot goalie. I mean, Swayman's not a Tuukka Rask. He's not entrenched. Hasn't been a veteran for 10 years. If Omar gets hot.
But he's better. He's clearly better goalie.
Yeah, but he's been playing badly. I mean, he's got an 83 save percentage over the last 10 games.
I don't think we stand much of a chance if he doesn't get hot in the playoffs, though.
Yeah.
Any team, I don't care who you are, you have to have a red hot goalie.
Yeah, exactly.
You have to have a goalie that absolutely stands on his head. That's a key component of winning a Stanley Cup.
All right, well, Timmy has the final say. All right, boys, that's our show for tonight. I want to thank Ian behind the scenes. I want to thank the fellas. Please check us out on our website at grandstanders.com and tune in again next Wednesday night at 6:30. We'll be live in the studio. There we go. Finally, get to see the guys again. We'll be live in the studio, so please check us out next week, Wednesday, 6:30. My name is Scott Kerman. Have a great and happy night.